Okay, folks, this is AMKS Goddess Radio coming to you live with some questions beyond. So, I wanted to say, welcome to the show if this is your first time listening. Faith without works is definitely dead. You know what I mean? The adversary definitely doesn't want me out there telling the stories that I have heard. Like, organ harvesting, all the good stuff out there. Okay, you can turn off the air and open your window again.
Well, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, open it. I'm on the air, and you're being rude.
That's rude, nah, fuck.
Come on, yeah, big brother. Open your window, please. Oh my God. Well, it's not gonna let the air into my room if you don't open your window. My kid is like just so against me. He thinks I'm crazy. So I'm talking about the Draconians. And I'm talking about, you guys know what a Draconian is, right? Right? You know, I'm not just crazy. And the Greys, the Reptilians out there, right? And we all know about the underground caverns that run all under America that the U.S. government has been drilling, right? So, here we go. So, I love to talk about it, be about it. I like to fill you all in on shit that just nobody's talking about anymore. You know, they say they think Queen Victoria is one. I think she's one too. Prince William. I think Princess Diana thought that William was one too. She said that she thought she was an incubator. You know what I mean?
This was not the usual hospital-type job site, but in the beginning I bought the whole package. I was reminded daily by intercom, in the elevators, that this site is high-risk advanced medical and drug testing to cure insanity. Please, never speak to the inmates. It can destroy years of work. I'm sensible. When doctors say don't speak to them, who was I to destroy the delicate situation? But one man somehow caught my eye. He repeatedly stated that he was George S. Dash and that he had been kidnapped and he was sure someone was searching for him. I don't know why he sticks in my mind. I found I was remembering his face, thinking he sure didn't look or sound insane, but many inmates said that. The next weekend I convinced a friend of mine, a cop, to run a check on the guy, saying I had a run-in with him and was curious. I didn't mention the base at all. It was a sickening feeling when the computer confirmed that George S. was missing. What's worse, the cops thought he was just another guy that got tired of the daily grind and split. That was the beginning.
Now they're talking about the underground caverns. And that, you know, they're feeding the Draconians. The Greys are capturing humans. And people are coming up missing.
What happened to him?
You know?
It was another security officer that came to me saying he and some lab workers wanted an off-duty meeting at one of the tunnels. Off the record, curiosity took over and I said okay. That night, about 9 men showed up. They said they knew they were risking me turning them in, but they wanted to show me some things they thought I should see. One by one, they showed records that proved many inmates were missing people. There were newspaper clippings, and even photos that they had somehow smuggled into the base. They hoped to smuggle them back out, without me turning them into the Honkos. I could see the fear in their faces as they spoke. One man stated he would rather lose his life by trying, than to lose his soul by not doing anything at all. It was that remark that turned the tide. I told them about George and the things I found out about him. After a few hours we pledged to attempt to expose the Dell space. Question. The name Nightmare Hall is descriptive, but surely there was a regular name. What was it called in the manuals? Answer. In the manuals it was called the Vivarium. It describes Dell Space as a secured facility for tending bioforms of all types. In the report it is retold as a private subterranean bioterminal park, with accommodations for animals, fish, fowl, reptile, and mankind. After seeing this park, the name Nightmare Hall is far more accurate than the manual. The accommodations for the inmates at Nightmare Hall fall short of the pretty picture the manual describes. Question. You mentioned one reptilian leader, Karshfishist. Do you know anything about him? Like, where is he from? Is he from Earth or some other planet? Answer. His name means keeper of the laws. They receive their name after they reach the age of awareness. They do not recognize time as an important factor in being aware the way humans do. Upon their age of awareness, they are cognitive of the station or position they are destined to fulfill. At that time, they chose or allow someone to choose their name. Their name will include the position they hold in several personally chosen letters. Each letter has a personal meaning, known only to the alien and the one that chose their name. Since Karsh's name means keeper of the laws, his name includes cache, memory or keep, base word for akashic record, and fascist.
Can you just tell us,
fast
sir,
or bind.
what exactly they found in their
Reptilians
place
choose
here
to be
in
not
Cairo?
only private but secretive of the location of their natal place. To them, birth, or emergence of life, is considered as one of the sacred rights of life. They consider Earth or Terra their home planet.
And we're just taking up space. We're squatters on Earth, guys.
Stars were within the Milky Way. Within those star maps lies the stars and planets of the Allegiance. Earth being one of the planets in their trade routes. If any human asked clear questions about the Allegiance, the aliens referred the questions to the Draco. The Draco, in turn, referred the questions to their supervisor, me. I did not have that information about the stars, because information was supplied on a need-to-know basis. I didn't need that information. Question. Did any of the working cast join in the revolt? Could you give me some names? Answer. A few of the reptilian janitorial crew let us know that they knew we were attempting to sabotage the work going on in the system.
So we're food eaters, we're squatters on the
The
Earth.
name show secretly formed a small group of reptiles with the same mindset as my group. He took upon himself the danger of informing me. He was as open as is possible in a unique situation. On the day I found out about it, I was inspecting a camera near an exit tunnel. He approached, stooped down, seemingly scraping some non-existent dirt, and he quietly said, "A few of us agreed that you are singular in your interest in missing human reports. If true, walk away. I'll reach you. If it's untrue, destroy my life now." My heart almost leapt out of my chest.
Big Brother doesn't want me talking about this.
For the rest of my life, I'll remember those words. It was the first time I knew reptilians could have individual thoughts and opinions. Basically, they formed a uniform front with a small variety of interests. Or at least, that was what we had thought. It was a couple days before I heard from him again. As he walked beside me in the 6th level's infamous hall, I heard him say, "Enter the exit tunnel on the 6th level, north, after your shift." The next few hours were long and filled with thoughts of betrayal, or worse, but I shouldn't have worried. I contacted one of the original 9 resistance men and let him know, just in case. Gordon wanted to go with me, but I convinced him to wait a few feet from the exit and pretend he was having trouble with his cart.
Today's flying
like a golf
dinosaurs.
cart. When I got there were 3 of them. Formerly introduced Fasha and Huamsha, name base word or assist. With that, I quickly grabbed Gordon from the hall and the 5 of us talked and walked in the dark tunnels about 3 hours. After that day, the joint resistance
The mole
group
people.
got bigger and bolder. Ultimately, it ended when a military assault was initiated via the exit tunnels and they executed anybody on their list, human or reptilian. We fought back, but none of the working cast had weapons, nor did the human lab workers. Only the security force and a few computer workers had flash guns. It was a massacre. Everyone was screaming and running for cover. The halls and tunnels were
St.
filled as
Patrick
full as
banishing the
possible.
reptiles.
We believe it was the Delta Force because of the uniforms and the method they used that chose to hit that shift change. And after that, this way, do not know if you could tell us. Gordon and Henry ran beside me as we ran into the third-level exit tunnels, and he died when several bullets slammed into his back. I vaporized that assassin and kept running. And I'm still running. Gordon will be remembered. Question: tell me more about the flash gun. Is it difficult to operate? Or is it like the weapon on Star Trek that can stun or kill on different modes? Answer: it is an advanced beam weapon that can operate on 3 different phases. Phase 1, like Star Trek, can stun and maybe kill if the person has a weak heart. On Phase 2, it can levitate anything no matter what it weighs. Phase 3 is the serious business mode. It can be used to paralyze anything that lives, animal, human, alien, and plant. On the higher position on the same mode, it can create a temporary death. Let me assure you, any doctor would certify the person is dead, but their life essence lingers in some strange limbo, some kind of terrible state of non-death. In 1 to 5 hours the person will revive, slowly. First the bodily functions will begin, and in a few minutes, consciousness followed with full awareness. In that mode the alien scientists reprogram the human brain and plant false information. When the person awakes, he recalls the false information as information he gained through life experience. There is no way for a person to learn the truth. The human mind remembers and believes completely the false data. If you attempt to inform them, they would laugh or get angry. They never believe the truth. Their mind always forgets the experience of reprogramming. You asked if the flash gun is difficult to operate. A 2-year-old child could use it with one hand. It resembles a flashlight with black glass conical inverted lens. On the side are 3
I feel like I just went into MIB, Men in Black.
Each knob is sized differently. The closer the knob to the hand, the less the strength. It's that simple. Each knob has 3 strengths also, with automatic stops at each position.
Men in Black.
This position will vaporize anything that lives. That mode is so powerful it will leave no trace of what it vaporized.
We are living in a new realm.
Question: is the weapon called a flash gun, or is there a different name in the manuals? Answer: everybody calls them flash guns, or more commonly the flash or my flashes when talking about it. In the manual it is first introduced as the Armorlux weapon. After that, it is explained as the flash gun. Question: what type of security is found at the Dell's base? What else is used against espionage or unauthorized entry? Answer: I'll mention a few, but it would be nearly impossible to cover it all. The weapon, besides the flash gun, mostly used as a form of sonic. Built in with each light fixture and most camcorders, is a device that can render a man unconscious in seconds with nothing more than a silent tone. At Dell's there also are still and VCR
The crazy shit in the world. Now this is some stuff been going on for many years. All the tunnels underneath. You know what I mean? Crazy, crazy, crazy. You know what I mean? Reptilians, guys. Reptilian royal weddings, reptilians, you know. Are they real? Everything you want to know about reptilians. This is a year ago.
Yo, what's good? It's your girl Tootsie and you're watching Tootsie Time, and in today's video I'll be sharing with you my favorite perfume. So I'm going to start with
my favorite perfume.
Greetings, friends of the universe. Today we are going to talk about the reptilian extraterrestrial race.
School's in, guys. School's in.
What is their impact on our
AMKS Goddess
galaxy,
Radio.
and what are they doing
Saying
on
what
our
you think,
planet?
but feel free to
Let's
say.
start. The reptilians are one of the most ancient and technologically advanced civilization in the universe. What is interesting is that they were genetically created by another race, referred to as master race. This master race history began so many years ago, when Earth as we know it didn't even exist. Long time ago, when the universe wasn't populated with millions of extraterrestrials, and extremely advanced beings arrived in this universe from a different unknown world. These beings were called Carians and were one of the first beings who came in this universe, alongside the feline race, who settled in the Lyrians. When these Carian beings arrived in our universe, which was very limited in life forms, they were in etheric form, and they chose to become physical in appearance and exist in the third dimension. In order to do this, they took on the shape and bodies of the creatures who flew over the planet they wanted to incarnate on. These creatures resembled our earthly birds. After many incarnations into this bird-like beings, this extremely advanced race, with extraordinary universal knowledge, successfully evolved their
Now this is where they think, you know, even dinosaurs had feathers, right? That turned into scales. Now they're going to explain how this works.
With the reptilians. When they created the reptilian race, they left them in a planet near the star Alpha Draconi, in the Draco constellation, where they had the best chance of survival. Upon the creation of the reptilian race by the Carians, they told the reptilians that this universe was theirs to command. They told them that everything is theirs for the taking, and they must dominate every galaxy, planet, and race they encounter. This way of thinking was planted since their creation and grew stronger throughout the years of evolution. They have this belief system even today. The originally created reptilian race, later called master race by the other reptilian species, were called the Alpha Draconians and were considered royalties. The Alpha Draconians look like monsters compared to the other reptilian species. They have long tails and stand from 18 to 25 feet tall and can weigh up to 2,500 pounds. They even have special wings, which are flaps of skin, supported by long ribs, which can be folded back against the body. They have a large liver and 2 hearts. They have the strength of 12 to 16 humans. Their heads resemble that of a dinosaur, striking fear in everyone who simply looks at them. The average lifespan of Draconians extends from 1,800 to 4,100 years of
Would you
age.
really want to live that
There are
long?
actually 2 types of Alpha Draconians, divided into 2 castes. The giant ones.
There's the
are
words.
part of a
Let's
royal
just
caste
pause this
called
right
the
here.
Cyber.
You got castes again. Now there's another race that uses the word caste, and that's Indians. And I'm just gonna go to India. And India has reptilians too, and it's who were the Naga, and that's the half reptilian shape-shifting beings from India. Okay, and they were called the Naga. Okay, I don't know if you guys know what the Naga is, but the drama seems to.
I have to bring up this final.
This is
story.
Nicholas Upchurch.
I couldn't leave you today without something that really rocked my world. Because I love David Icke. We did, there are certain people that you just get into, right? You get into people and they really make you think. A lot of people like Joe Rogan, or my mom likes Oprah. Oprah Soul Sundays, right? We have our hosts. People love George Norrie and Coast to Coast, and I love David Wilcock, and there's certain people we like. So I also love David Icke, and he makes so much. He really, this reptilian thing. He's not the only one, but this reptilian thing, these invisible beings, and these statues of reptilians around the world. There's statues, I think in Peru, some city. There's a big reptilian, and sure, maybe they're just like mythical characters. I don't know. Maybe they are. But there's a lot of weird. I don't know that reptilians are the only beings. I don't even know that they really exist how we think. But I also think that a lot of things based on this show Ancient Aliens and all the things we're learning, I'm not so sure that there weren't a lot of beings back in the day. We look at ancient Greece and ancient Rome and all those stories. I mean, the whole idea of Ancient Aliens, which is actually a very popular show, is that it's actually these gods may have been like aliens. They may have just and you see all of these shape-shifting half human, half reptilian beings, right? They have these tails you see in the pictures here. And it talks about whistleblowers and things of that nature. But then it gets into the Naga, and here we see up close one of the pictures. And, you know, one of their sources, Encyclopedia Britannica.
Naga.
The Naga are said to be a race of non-human reptilian-type beings. They are found in the literature of multiple ancient cultures across the globe, especially within ancient Jainism.
Okay, let's read what Wikipedia says. It says in Hinduism and Buddhism and Jainism, a member of a class of mythical semi-divine beings, half human and half cobra. They are strong, handsome species who can assume either wholly human or wholly serpentine form and are potentially dangerous but often beneficial to humans. That's from the Britannica. Well, that doesn't look like what I thought it would look like, but it's really kind of cool. The Wikipedia says, let's see, the Naga, a serpent deity in Buddhist, Hindu, and Jain, like Cain, but it's Jain mythology. Naga people, which is also Lanka, the ancient tribe of Sri Lanka. That's pretty cool, right? And, you know, these serpent people, you know, they're all over the world, right? You see these. China has some really cool ones, too, you know what I mean? But this guy, let's go back to what he's saying.
Hindu and mythology, in quotes, right? They were considered to be semi-divine beings, half human and half reptilian, who can either take on a full serpentine form or a fully human form. According to the legends, these beings existed underground and inside of the earth. We just talked about that in the last segment. In large kingdoms. They were considered both beneficial and friendly to humans as well as potentially dangerous. And then it says, Encyclopedia Britannica goes through the serpent princesses of striking beauty, the dynasties in northeastern India. I mean, this was not something that was just like some guy said it once. And then it says some, like David Icke, even claim that they were present.
Okay, so they got these snake people, right? Let's see. They got these snake people, right? Which are really cool, right? But they're calling them millennials. And the millennials is a new thing that's going on. They're half snake and half people, right? Boston Globe. Millennials to snake people. Web browser extenders, innovators, right? Urban Dictionary. Generation Y, better known as millennials. Those reaching a young adulthood around year 2000. They don't buy cars or houses or communicate. Snake people. Wow, millennials. Medieval weapons, snake people. Those just snake people come. That's really crazy, right? I was just thinking, you know, the Chinese people, but it's not working out like that. But, you know, Chinese gods or whatever. Anyway.
At the birth of Buddha, despite the fact that they were still considered dangerous, especially when angered. Well, I think all of us are like that, right? If we're angered, we could be potentially dangerous. Maybe not everybody, but definitely some people. One example of where the Nagas are referenced in ancient scripture comes from the Mahabharata. I pronounced that wrong. Mahabharata. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it, because somebody can let me know. Where the Buddha actually protected Nagas from an attack by half-human, half-bird-like creatures, Garuda. After this battle, both Nagas and Garudas, and then it's not written correctly, right? That they end the sentence right there. But it goes on. And you know who talks about the bird-like creatures? First of all, it is in ancient Egypt. William Henry was on an episode of Divine... What is that show? Divine Cosmos or Divine Family? Just live a happy life. I understand. All these things are connected. In my opinion, it's the most important issue of our time. And we're going to get more and more people like Elon Musk, who's a businessman, you know, a very well respected in the mainstream business community. We're going to get
So what do you guys
introducing
think?
the world's first
real?
self-winding string trimmer.
Is it not real?
Go string trimmer with.
Hey guys, we are at Mahabalipuram in India, and I'm going to show you the world's second largest relief called Arjuna's Penance, carved 1300 years ago. This relief is about 96 feet long and 43 feet tall. It's very intriguing because the carving seems to prove the ancient astronaut and shape-shifting reptilian theories of our times. According to reptilian theory, reptilians are shape-shifting aliens who live underground and are capable of flying and transforming into humans. Sounds like some guy created this bizarre concept in 2001 and is the most ridiculous thing you ever heard, right? How about everything I just said about the reptilian theory?
So what do you guys think? School's in again, guys.
1300 years ago.
Anyway.
Let's take a good look at this. The center of attention is clearly on two snake gods coming out of the ground, cracking the earth open. They are shown with half human and half snake bodies. Notice that there's a third god below the second one who is not yet transformed and has a snake's body in full. This shows that these gods transformed into humanoids as they approached the earth's surface. These reptilian snake gods, or nagas, have been documented in many ancient Hindu and Buddhist texts.
Hello?
Archaeologists are baffled by this carving because they cannot come to
Hi.
a conclusion as to what it shows. Some people claim that the primary
Yes.
purpose of this is Arjuna doing a penance. Do you think that this skinny
Yes.
man carved in an inconspicuous location is the focus of this carving? Even
Okay.
to a layman, it seems like the rock has been split into two equal halves. And the
About 10 o'clock would be better.
be on these figures that are coming out of the ground and taking off vertically into the sky. If the carving does in fact show that these
Whenever the next available one's fine. And I have to let you know I'm live on air. I'm broadcasting idospeaker.com. I'm Goddess Radio. So, you're on air. And, we're talking about reptilians and ancient astronauts today. What's your feelings on that? Reptilians and ancient astronauts. That I believe that there are reptilians that live under the ground and ancient greys that live, here on planet Earth, and humanity is trapped in between like an Oreo cookie. Okay. Mhm. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because there's too much to deny that there wasn't reptilians on this planet before us. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. But any the next available appointment's cool. You know, I just had to let you know that I'm on air and you're on air too. So. Okay, that would be fine. And Thursday. All right. What's the date on that? That's 28th. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Bye bye. There you guys have it. We had a caller today. I didn't know that could happen. That's so cool, right? Okay, we had a caller. And the caller, that was really cool. 28th, at 10 o'clock is Marcelino. Counseling appointment. Hello. So Marcelino. Okay, so
Reptilians are blasting off like modern day rockets.
I guess you guys can call in. That's kind of crazy.
Of other features that support this theory. You can see a lot of animals getting rattled because of the blast off. Different species of agitated animals like deer, lions, and monkeys were shown. It's only normal that these animals would get uncomfortable when there's a huge liftoff nearby. The only exception to this is a brave male elephant standing only to protect the scared baby elephants between his legs. Now, look at the hand signal on almost every human being. Their hands are all pointing at a 45-degree angle upwards and directly towards the center figures that are taking off. To be honest, I've been to more than 24 ancient sites in India, and I've never seen this hand gesture anywhere else. It just doesn't make any sense. Note that on the top, on either side, there are two men with large helmets giving the same hand signal. With all the commotion going on, there is an elderly man who's calmly observing the astronauts taking off. Another interesting thing to be pointed out is that there are no mainstream gods whatsoever in this carving at all. Even Hindu theologians are baffled that there is no Shiva, Vishnu, or any other notable god in this relief. And a scene like this is not described anywhere in the thousands of Hindu scriptures that we have. These Nagas of Hindu mythology are very similar to Nakash from Jewish mythology. A Naga is also called a Serpa by Hindus and is called a Seraph by Jews and Christians. Invariably, all scriptures refer to them as flying gods or angels.
Okay, a seraphim is supposed to have like talons with wings, right? Okay, so I'm just a little confused on that part, right? So we had a caller call in. Thank you very much for the caller. Even though that was the lady rescheduling the appointment for my son's appointment. Yes, it was. And that's so cool. And how things go for me, I don't know. I'm not torn because I believe in the supernatural, because I believe in God. I don't think you can believe in God without believing in the supernatural. So if you don't believe, I think you're still asleep. Please remove your veil, everyone. My name is Anne Marie Stanley Clazing, and I am AMKS Goddess Radio. And I do say what people think and too afraid to say. I'm going to go with one more little thing. This is the mystery Indian sculpture. Wait, this is the mystery sealed temple door.
Have you ever seen inside a hive before?
Hey, it's Mike Chen. The world is full of mysteries. That's why it's so fun to work on this channel. I especially love things from ancient history that we just can't figure out. And I don't know if that's because I've watched one too many Indiana Jones movies, or the fact that I don't believe that our ancestors are as technologically unadvanced as most people might think. From the pyramids to Stonehenge, there are so many ancient secrets out there in plain sight that we still can't solve. And perhaps one of those ancient secrets is the Sri Padmanabha Swami Temple. This temple is as ancient ancient as Hinduism, the faith that is practiced in it. Located in
which
Kerala,
has blue
India,
people,
this
by the way.
temple is named the richest temple in the world. And one look at the beautiful structure gives the prestige away, for the entire structure is covered in actual gold. This ancient temple is beautifully built and is a prime example of a combination of Keralan and Dravidian architecture, styles that were popular among Hindu temples, especially in the state of Kerala. However, the Padwana Bohaswamy temple has something about it that makes it stand out among the rest. And it's not the golden exterior, but something else, something far more mysterious. It is said that underneath this ancient Hindu temple may be one of the greatest treasures known to man. And before we get into that, let's talk about its history for a second here. The temple's history goes back to 500 BC and 300 AD, when it was mentioned in several texts during India's Sangam period of literature. Essentially, like any temple.
Stop right there. Shiva was a lord. He was actually a chief of a tribe, okay? And he did actually get a blue throat. He ingested some poison, which turned his whole throat blue, which Brahma, which was also a scientist back in the day in India, who created a immortality agent, which gave longevity. It didn't, like, prolong death. It just made you it gave you longer life. Okay, go on.
It serves as a place of worship, and in this case, its primary deity is Vishnu, and the entrance to it is only granted to Hindus. There is no exact date as to when this temple was built, but one thing is for sure, it's been there for a long time. And in 2011, with an order from the Indian Supreme Court, the 6 known vaults underneath the temple were explored. What was found inside them shocked the world. The vaults that were opened held unimaginable treasures, further cementing the temple's title. They contained precious stones and metals, ancient artifacts, but most of all, gold. There were gold coins dated around 200 BC, golden necklaces and crowns, and even a solid gold statue of the deity of the temple. The treasures were estimated to be worth billions, and some even say trillions of dollars. And it was said to be one of the biggest treasure finds in all of history. And that's not even the most exciting part. What's crazy was that out of the 6 vaults of the temple, only 5 were completely opened. The last vault, named Vault B by the Indian Supreme Court, contains a door that leads to another chamber. The door, like the temple, is beautifully adorned, if not a little scary. Carved on the door are 2 giant cobras said to be warnings to anyone who wants to open it and reveal the secrets inside. What's strange is that there are no latches or bolts on the door, not even a keyhole. No other means of entry except for a ritual that is supposed to be performed by a Hindu monk who must be powerful enough to perform the Buddha mantra or a powerful chant. And there is currently no such person capable of doing this. That's why
it's a frequency. A frequency.
No one knows exactly what's inside. Much information about the temple and its vaults is lost on the temple officials, even for the Travancore royal family whose trust.
Now, let me tell you, it is a secret frequency that is not. Now, the dance of Shiva and is a dance. It is with perfect harmony and with perfect kinesthetics that it flows. People say, oh, it's to bring in destruction. It is not to bring in destruction. It is to cause your enemy to sleep, and not see your next moves. They've got Hinduism screwed up.
However, if the substantial amount of wealth from the other vaults is of any indication, then it would be reasonable to think that this vault too will bring treasures with it. Or it could be a curse if the cobra's warning on the door of the inner vault had any truth to them. Also, it seems that this isn't the first time the Indian government has tried to explore the temple. In 1908, there was a failed attempt to open the vaults because the explorers quickly left when they found the chambers infested with cobras. However, in 1931, when the state of Kerala was financially in need, another attempt was made to breach the vaults, and this time it was successful, with at least one of the vaults opened and ample treasure found. As for the other vaults, it would be 80 years until their treasures will be found, but not
so they're just robbing the treasures.
And continues to be so to the outside world. Currently, the government of India is still trying to open the sealed door inside Vault B, but the Travancore royal family, along with many religious devotees, have appealed the government's order for another exploration of the remaining vaults. And this was because a ritual called Dava Prasna was held to find out out the deity's wish on the fate of the temple. So in the ritual, a young boy would serve as the instrument through which the deity would interact and convey his or her wishes. And after this ritual, it was found out that the deity was apparently not very happy, wishing the treasures not to be disturbed and the last vault not to be opened, or else. And according to those who performed this ritual, the opening of the inner chamber will cause untold catastrophic events of apocalyptic proportions. Then there's another conflict going on.
So I hope you guys believe or don't believe, but this is AMKS Goddess Radio. India is robbing its own temples to pay off its debts. Crazy. They could be filthy rich, but they're not. They're not using the money to feed their people, that's for sure, because their people are starving. Lord, be with us. Be with those that are hungry. Lord, help those that are in need. Give us strength to stand against the adversaries that are against us. Let us have no fear, for fear is man-made. In Jesus Christ's precious name, amen. For those that are listening, may God be with you all through our time of difficulties, the apocalyptic, catastrophic ending. Oh my God. Have no fear, folks.